Alright, let's start with the commonly used tempo for Afrobeat 100. And I'll use F4 keys to make this simple chord progression. It's easier to hear the tone of each note when you use a piano preset for a chord. I'll later switch the preset. Think my scale is set to A minor already. Alright, it checks out. So with basic chord harmony, you know that from the tonic note, the first, you can go anywhere. So let's do the subdominant, the fourth. Yep, and then we know that the subdominant always want to act as a bridge between the tonic and then the dominant. So we'll do the fifth. And then back to the fourth. Now we have the fourth looping back to the first, giving us this plagal cadence. From here we make basic major and minor triads. Double the bass note to add more depth. And to do inversions, we check for common notes between this chord and then move them close. For instance, from the A minor to the D minor, we have a shared note between them, which is the A. So we move them close to create the sense of closure and then togetherness. So with the last chord, let's just add the G note to give this chord a shared note. This sounds boring to me with every chord playing on each measure, so I'll just adjust the rhythm. To select, hold Ctrl and drag to select, and in the middle of the two chords, hold Shift and then drag to adjust the rhythm. And I'll be adding this simple top line, just a single note. Alright, so it's sounding good. So we're gonna do Alt plus R to randomize the velocity, and then do Alt plus S to strum the notes. You can see that I haven't toggled the preserve end, so notes will blend into each other, and that's exactly how I want it. It sounds so much humanized. And then I'll just zoom in to the ending, hold Shift. By the way, use the Shift on the right side of the keyboard and then right click to cut the excess. Lastly, I'll do Alt plus X to scale the notes down. Now from here, I'll switch up the preset for a roots in Keyscape. I'll be using the classic mellow dark face. Alright, it sounds okay, but it sounds too high in pitch, so I'll do Ctrl plus arrow down to bring it down an octave. From here, we layer with parts to create a complex texture. So it's not really about playing complex chord, but the little details we put together that brings forth the unique sound. That's what I'm going for. Well, if you have Analog Lab 5, the easiest way to search for preset is to filter it out with the style and then types. Well, I'm going to take out every part apart from the first chord and take out the bass note as well. And I'll paste it to fill each 2 bars. Alright, so from here I'll add another rhythmic layer with a plug sound from Analog Lab 5 again. I think it's called the Celesta something, or yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, the very first one. Now we are going to follow the ghost notes of this chord to create this simple pattern. Alright, this is sounding good, so I'll just paste it over. Well, with the first chord, you'll notice that we are using the fifth, that's the E note, to act as a transitional note. So with the E minor chord in its root position, the B is the fifth. It's because we have interchanged the position of the chord notes with inversions. That's why we assume that the G is the fifth note, but it's actually the B. So let's just try the 2 notes out and then listen to what it sounds like. Which one sounds better? Alright, to me the B sounds better with the groove, so I'll just leave it that way. Now I'm going to paste it over and only use the second 8 bars because I want to use the sub bass for the first 8 bars, and then the bass switches up with the second half of the 8 bars. And then I like to mix while I make the beat, so I'll be adding some processing while we make the beat. So quickly, let's do some EQ on the roots, and I'll be cutting chunk of the low frequencies. So I'll be using the mouse scroll wheel to switch between different types of filter right here. And I want a high pass filter. And you can adjust the Q with the dots beneath, like you adjust the steepness of the slope. And with the parts, we just turn the velocity down. Anything which isn't a main sound but a texture needs to be turned down to be in the background. And then RC20 on the plug, we'll be using the short slapback preset. We still need more attack with the plug sound, so I'll be using the wave smack attack to add more punch. And then finally in our mix chain, we'll be using our Vox to push the sound to cut through the mix. Well, you notice that loading 3 instances of the plugin is killing the space on the PC, so for the sake of saving memory, I'll just bounce these patterns as audio clip and then continue from there. Alright, to those who are struggling with space too, this is how I deal with it. I'll just upload instances of sampler track, rename it with the instrument, and then copy and paste the MIDI data there. And on the mixer track, I'm just going to amp the selected insert, do Alt+R to render it as audio clip. But I'll totally suggest that you bounce your audio clip before you add insert effects so that you can make changes to the mix. But I'm totally confident with my mix, that's why I did it the other way around. So let's select the VST track and then do Alt+Delete on the keyboard to delete the VSTs. On the mixer track too, we just delete the insert tracks, and then we'll reroute the rendered wave file to the mixer track. Now from here we can add a bass line. I'll be doing the A and A bass from Purity. So in order to write bass line, just follow the root note of the progression and then add simple groove to it, and that'll be fine. Alright, this is cool. So with the other half of the bass, I'll just copy the bass line from the pluck sound and then make some changes to it later. So from here, everything is sounding good. So we'll just proceed to add some log drums to it. So we just copy the bass line of our pluck sound and then paste it to the log drum channel. And then we'll do some magic to it. And here is what we have. Alright, from here, so we can add our drums now. But first, to make my drums full, I want to add a peck loop. So I'll be making a peck loop from scratch to complement the drum groove. Alright, so something like this is sounding good. I'll just route it into a mixer track and then process it. Rename it as Peck and then give it a nice red color. I'll just pan some element to fill the stereo field. And then on the bass track on the pecs, I'll just insert Fruity Love filter. And I'll be selecting the low pass triangle. I'll just play around with these parameters to create something that I want. Alright, this sounds okay. And I'll then sidechain the peg bass to an empty mixer track to add reverb. And because we are using the reverb as a send return, I'll turn the dry knob to 0 and then the wet knob all the way to 100. Alright, it will sound weird at first when I play it, but I'll just fix it, so just listen. So I'll just insert EQ with a high pass filter so that the reverb affects only the high frequencies of the loop. Yeah, something like this. That's what I'm looking for. And I'll just render it as audio clip. Yeah, so now from here we can add our Afrobeat drums. The beat is really taking shape. A typical Afrobeat bounce. This soft kick, and we do 4-step kick pattern, and then add some variations. So in general, what's Afrobeat without African percussions like bongo, conga, shakers and the like? So let's just slap them all in. So let me just level the drums up, do some simple gain staging. Alright, that's all I wanted to share. I'll display what I have on the master bars and then play the beat for you and then sign out. Like always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.